Hi guys, in this episode of XIKERS, I am really excited to be checking out KQ's new boy group's pre-release kind of track, that being Final Geek. So for those of you who don't know, this bunch of fellows called KQ Fellaz are going to be the new KQ Entertainment boy group. Basically, they're going to be the little brothers of E839. And obviously, I'm excited to see what their sound is going to be like, because I feel like the pre-release track that E839 did before debuting was a decently good way of seeing what kind of style they would have. Like, their sound debuting was still different, but you could still see their really great skills in rapping and vocals in that song of theirs. And also, I just want to comment a little bit on the name that KQ Entertainment has decided to give them, aka XIKERS. It's kind of a funny one, and I honestly kind of like it. But I'm not gonna lie, I am a little bit worried about how much I'm actually gonna end up enjoying this group, because there has been a couple of times already before where there has been a group that I'm a big fan of whose company decides to debut either their brother or sister group or whatever. And I'm obviously excited for that, because I want to see what they would go for with their sound and how much I'm going to enjoy them. And then I end up not really liking them that much. It happened before with Dreamcatcher and their brother group, The Ones, who at this point have disbanded, by the way. And it happened also with Everglow's brother group, Tempest, as well. Not that The Ones or Tempest were bad, but they were not as good as their sister groups. So in the case of KQ Fellaz, there is very much a little bit of a worry about the kind of expectations that I'm putting upon them, and whether they're gonna manage to meet them, and whether I'll end up enjoying them, because they also have to differentiate themselves from E839. They cannot do the same thing, especially because E839 is still a thing, and they're only like halfway through their like career or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I do want to comment also on the fact that I really hope that all of the KQ Fellaz in this music video are hopefully going to be members of the actual group, and they're going to debut together. Because for those of you who didn't know, for KQ Fellaz 1, aka when E839 debuted, in the pre-release thing, which is like what this is, there was another person in the group. I don't remember the name of that idol, and I don't know if there's like still an idol or whatever, but he was part of like KQ Fellaz 1, and he was part of that pre-release song whose name I think is From. And I really wish that he actually debuted with E839, because I feel like he would have been, he would kind of complete the group in a way. Because as much as I love E839, I think they're amazing, they're great, I just feel like genuinely that member would have completed it, because in a way the group does feel a little bit incomplete in a way, you know. They don't need him to be good, but I feel like it would have kind of like been the cherry on top to have that member, because he was, for those of you who didn't know, also a rapper just like Honjong and Mingi. And for me, both Honjong and Mingi's rapping is not really my favorite style of rapping. Like, in the case of Honjong, I feel like his voice is too high-pitched and sometimes is on the line of like being annoying. Like, those kind of voices for rapping for me don't really work. And I feel like when it comes to Mingi, his voice is a little bit too deep for me to like truly be in love with. But that member's voice was right in the middle, perfectly in the middle for me. So I feel like he would have been a great addition to the group. So hopefully we're not going to have that kind of situation with this group, but there's only one way to find out, and that is by getting into this and then counting the members again when they actually debut with their album or title track or whatever, which shouldn't be that far off from now, and I obviously will prioritize them in terms of reactions, so it's not going to be too long. You're going to have to wait for that reaction. But anyway, I said quite a lot, got a little bit sidetracked. So without further ado, let's get into KQ Fellaz 2's Final Geek in 3, 2, 1. They look so young. Okay, so far it sounds really good, honestly. It's so weird to see the KQ style of dancing on another group though, I gotta say. And the anthem-y feel for the song. Huh. You know, I genuinely think there's a big possibility that I might like this group more than ATEEZ. And it's also weird what other group these guys are reminding me of. But I'm gonna talk about it more after the reaction. Honestly, I for sure like their rapping better than ATEEZ. And that is not like a shitting on ATEEZ kind of situations, but their voices just are more pleasing to me. I can already explain what bothers me about ATEEZ's rapping a lot of the time. Dude, this is such an anthem, man. Also, how many members are there? 3, 6, 9, 10? Are there 10 members? Jesus Christ, that's a lot. Okay. I honestly did not expect this song to slap as hard as it did. Because, like I said, for like the KQ Fellaz 1 pre-release song that ATEEZ did before debuting, that one was far more like chill and more melodic. It was basically kind of reminiscent of what they released with the song Wave, like the kind of style that Wave was. That's what their pre-release track was like. It was definitely not as hard hitting as this one, and I feel like that's maybe why I feel like I might like this group a little bit more than ATEEZ at the end of the day. But yeah, I don't know. I'm actually now super fucking hype about this group's debut. I was worried before, now I'm hype. Because it seems like they're not going to be shying away from like potentially doing a similar style to ATEEZ stuff. Like in terms of like the anthem-y feel of their music. Because this is really, really good. I really like it, you know? And from what I know, their debut album's gonna have like a lot of involvement from Honjong from ATEEZ. So that's interesting. There's obviously gonna be some fucking similarities in sound between the two. But yeah. It's really interesting though. There's one thing that is really interesting that, and maybe I'm not the only one who feels like this, and I'm sorry for like comparing groups all the time, but that's the way I process how I feel about stuff. But when ATEEZ first debuted, or when I first fell in love with their music, it was a period of time where I was falling out of love with BTS. So they kind of came up at the perfect moment, and they felt very reminiscent of BTS in many ways. Sound-wise, in terms of how epic their songs were and how impactful they were, their amazing rapping, their general vibe just felt very BTS-like to me, especially coming from like a small company. So they've always been like in my mind, and I've always perceived them as a like for me, a spiritual successor to BTS. This group, on the other hand, for whatever reason, reminds me of Stray Kids. Which is funny because after BTS stopped being my favorite group, Stray Kids became my favorite group. And they were also kind of inspired by what BTS was like, with like the self-producing stuff. Because BTS was notoriously like produced by the members, or written and done by the members, and so is Stray Kids. I'm pretty sure there's like comments where GYP himself has said that he kind of took inspiration from BTS when creating Stray Kids. So it's kind of interesting how this group kind of reminds me of Stray Kids. I think it's the fact that their rapping and their mannerisms kind of remind me a lot to the rapping and mannerisms of Stray Kids. And the fact that they're very young. At least they look young. And Stray Kids are obviously older, but they do not like look that much older. They still look like young. Mostly due to their height, because they're on the shorter side. But it's really, really interesting how much they remind me of Stray Kids. But yeah, I really like them. I really like them. And with a name like XIKERS, also kind of feels like it's in the same vein as Stray Kids for me, you know? I'm really hyped now. I'm really hyped now for their actual debut. Hopefully it's not gonna suck or underwhelm me, because like for example Tempest, aka Everglow's brother group, when they debuted they weren't bad with their debut song. I liked it and I've listened to it a lot, but it's just not what I was looking for, you know? I was hoping that they would do for boy groups what Everglow did for girl groups, and that just didn't materialize. So there's that. But yeah, I really, really like this, and I honestly just want to listen to it again. So without further ado, let's get into it again in 3, 2, 1. GEEK, respect to 80s from. What is that supposed to mean? Man, I'm so gonna listen to this song so much. This sounds so good. Dude, this is so good. Like, this guy reminds me a lot of Bangchan from Stray Kids. Man, they just really popped off on this track. I love it. Burn it up, burn it up. Oh my god, I'm gonna play the shit out of this one. Does this even count for like one of my favorite songs of whichever year this was released in? Because I think it's been a while since this has been released. I'm gonna have to look up which year it was released in. Also, some of the members have some visuals reminiscent of BTS as well, which I also really love. They left me without a breath, man. Holy hell. They're so good. Honestly, I'm kind of curious to kind of look them up a little bit. So let's look up XIKERS K-pop profile. And let's do it on camera so you guys can see my reaction. Okay, so it is a 10-member boy group. I guess it's confirmed. It's Minjae, Jeongmin, Seomin, Jinsik, Hyunwoo, Hunter, Junghoon, Seon, and Yoojung. And they released a pre-debut song, GEEK, on September 17, 2022. Wow, this has been a while. And they will officially debut on March 13th. So, in 9 days. Wow, okay, cool. I'm definitely excited for that. Yeah, this genuinely might be one of my favorite songs of 2022. Despite the fact that I'm reacting to it in 2023, but whatever. So let's look up the group. So Minjae, 2003. How young is their maknae? Like 2009? Okay. April 10, 2003. He's a rapper. He's the leader. Jeongmin, 2003. Dancer. Seomin, 2004. Rapper. There's Jinsik, vocalist, 2004. Hyunwoo, 2004, vocalist. Junghoon, 2005, vocalist. Seon, vocalist, 2005. Hunter is the guy, I think, who looks or reminds me a lot of Bangchan from Stray Kids. And with a name like that, I assume he is... well, it says that he is Thai, which is not what I thought he was gonna be. He doesn't look Thai, honestly. Not to sound racist or anything. But he does not look Thai at all. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has, like, mixed parents or something. But that's kind of cool that they've went for like a for like a Thai idol. I feel like you don't really see that often. Like, who are the only other Thai idols? Like, if I remember correctly, Bam Bam from GOT7 was Thai. Sorn, was she Thai? And wasn't Lisa Thai? I think. Anyway, Yoojung, 2005, vocalist. Wait, is this guy the rapper? No, he's a vocalist. Okay, Hunter is a vocalist too. Ye-chan, he's 2005, main rapper, main dancer, vocalist in maknae. Damn, he's a golden maknae. Interesting. He reminds me a little bit of, I think his name is like Lee Dahui, or however you're supposed to pronounce it, from like Apsix. He has a similar kind of chin, I feel like. So he's the maknae. Okay, so they're not that much younger. That's good. That's good, because I was genuinely like worried that they were gonna be like super young. But I guess they're kind of like in the same vein that 80s is in, where 80s are obviously a 4th generation boy group, but most of the idols in the group are aged with a lot of like late 3rd gen boy groups, I feel like. So this group is probably is pretty much aged about the same as most Gen 4 groups, but like I mean, they're aged the same point at which most Gen 5 groups are gonna be aged at, but they're still like Gen 4, so that's kind of interesting. Or they're Gen 5. I don't know at this point. Like, I feel like we're very close to the end of Gen 4 and the beginning of Gen 5, but I don't think we're there. Usually there's like a wave of debuts and the mainstream K-pop groups clearly get replaced. Like, for example, look at which groups were a thing in Gen 3. Like the mainstream groups of Gen 3 were, compare them to Gen 4, and you can see that we're clearly in a different generation from like 2019 at the latest onwards. So I feel like either most likely next year or the year after that we are going to be getting into Gen 5, because there's probably going to be a lot of debuts coming in. But yeah, I'm sorry I got a little bit sidetracked. I just want to learn a little bit about them, but they're an interesting group that I'm really excited to see them officially debut and see what they have in store for me, you know? But I am curious, what do you guys think about this group? So comment those down below and let's have a discussion about this. And also, before we end this video, I just want to give a huge shout out to my currently 5 patrons on Patreon. Omar Richmond, Deadpool, Corby Dead, Drew, and Rin. Thank you guys for your support, I really appreciate it, it really means a lot to me. You have decided to support me, you have continued to support me for such a long time. Hope you continue to enjoy my content and continue to support me going forward. Thank you very much. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like, subscribe. Also, check out the link in the description to my Wattpad, where I post my stories, because in addition to doing all these videos on my channel, I'm also a writer. And if you end up enjoying my stories or simply enjoy my videos, you can head over to my Patreon or to my Ko-fi account, where you can pledge your support and help get the channel going, help support me so I can keep writing the stories you enjoy. You can also get the ability to demand me to do K-pop reactions if you're interested in that. But if you don't care about any of those things, that's completely fine. You can still help me out in other ways, like liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and especially sharing this video with someone who you think might enjoy it. And I think that's pretty much it for this video, so hopefully I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye!